Our sounds are cold, but they are fair. Try to touch us if you dare. We are the best. So let it be real.
A major part in what I feel is important for Defected to be associated with is the culture of dance music, not just about new releases, not just about what's happening now, but the history of dance music, the history of house music, and support the originators and the pioneers and profile great music from back in the day.
His history is deep, you know, it's ridiculous. And so when I got involved heavily in house masters, then I started to uncover other things that I was not quite aware of, or things that he'd been involved in. And then when he started to send me the DATs of unreleased music, that was a whole other, you know, Pandora's box. So.
Don't get on social media and then ask why I'm still around so long. Ask how I stayed around so long. The longevity is what you should be concerned about.
We have a House Masters compilation coming. I mean, it's an iconic series with some incredible, you know, some of the best producers from house music over the last 3 decades associated with that series. And we have new singles coming. So all of those activities should feed into just increasing Mike's profile and creating awareness with his new recordings.
With Mike, and I think this is the appeal for me, is like Mike is like a kind of almost like a father of the underground. You know, he was always, you know, everyone's God Made Me Phunky is up there, you know, all-time classic house music records.
And I know everybody was like, man, that sample is out of tune, but it was purposely out of tune because if you listen to like some of the classic records, some of those are detuned or pitched a little bit out. That's what gave it that funky vibe. Or their strings weren't all the way in tune, or the Rhodes went out of tune a little bit, or that's what made it what it is. Sometimes things don't have to sound right. They're more better felt right.
There's a real wealth and a diversity in the music he's produced over the years.
We have Phreaky Motherfucker, which is, you know, quite niche in its audience, even though it's an incredible record.
So the funkiness is just who I am and what I, gravitate to, what I take from, what I pull from when I'm producing,
His old recordings can also help his new recordings, and the synergy and the foundations that we're laying should go on to make Mike relevant for the next another 10 years, which would be amazing.
This how I knew it was like it, because the lyrics just flew out. I ain't had to sit there and walk around. I can't get down. Yeah. Tell me why the hell am I trying to get back up with it if I can't get down? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the only thing I heard when I was doing. Like, yeah. Now tell me why the hell am I trying to get back up with it? Which is something that James Brown would say.
So he's like this kind of figure that just exists in this own space, and again, I think that's the appeal for me. It's like I love people that are that original, that it's that James Brown effect, isn't it? No one else can be James Brown, no matter how much people try. No one can be James Brown. No one can be Prince, So it's I have a lot of time for people that carve that place out for themselves. I think there's it's a special place for them, really.
If you don't understand Mike Dunn, you're not gonna get it. If you don't get Mike Dunn, you're not gonna push me. You're not gonna, you know what I'm saying? You're not gonna see or hear you're not gonna see what I see and hear what I hear. When I spoke to Luke, when I went to London and had to sit down and Luke got it.
He's just an OG. He's just the Don. He's from Chicago. He's an original. He's a pioneer. When he's behind the decks, he has real presence, and he commands respect. He commands respect not only from other DJs, other producers, but from the audience as well. And that's a real rare thing. He's just one of the coolest dudes out there.
He doesn't just throw stuff down and chuck it out there and hope for the best. You know, he's a craftsman, so it is very much, you know, his heartbeat, and I think that's you can see that. And he works, you know, those people that just work and don't take everything for granted and just don't assume that they're this massive star and everyone should bow down. He's just a humble man, you know, so it's yeah, and you know, a true craftsman.
Every track that basically I've done has had something to do with where I was at my time in a time in my life. So if you listen to all those tracks, you know, one of those tracks is going to say something about where I was mentally or physically or emotionally, or that's just why I'm a storyteller, and I try to always be truthful with my, you know, with, you know what I'm saying, with the stories that I tell.
Why the hell am I trying to get back up with it? Now if I can't get down,